Now, here's the hosts of Top Story, KLIXcast and Jill Skeen.
Obviously, Republicans had a good night, and they deserve credit for running good campaigns. Beyond that, I'll leave it to all of you and the professional pundits to pick through yesterday's results. What stands out to me, though, is that the American people sent a message, one that they've sent for several elections now. They expect the people they elect to work as hard as they do. They expect us to focus on their ambitions and not ours. They want us to get the job done. All of us in both parties have a responsibility to address that sentiment. Still, as president, I have a unique responsibility to try and make this town work. So to everyone who voted, I want you to know that I hear you. To the two-thirds of voters who chose not to participate in the process yesterday, I hear you too. All of us have to give more Americans a reason to feel like the ground is stable beneath their feet, that the future is secure, that there's a path for young people to succeed, and that folks here in Washington are concerned about them.
Well, good morning and welcome to Top Story. 7360300 is always the number to call. And good morning, Jill.
Good morning, Kelly.
Welcome. We're going to talk about the president's news conference yesterday and his little speech. And we've got...
His little speech. He is the president. That was a little speech.
Well,
his little chat.
I'm sorry.
His little chat.
And the president's address to the nation yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. There, is that better?
Anyway.
Oh, I'm just saying.
Go on.
Hey, it was a little speech. It wasn't a long speech.
Oh,
it was
gosh.
a little speech. So anyway, we'll be visiting about that a little bit today. We also have Erica Littlefield. She'll be in at 8:20 to talk about the Twin Falls Public Library event that's coming up.
Desserts in the stacks. This should catch your attention.
It does. Maybe she'll bring me a sample.
Maybe they're going to hide little treats among the books, and then you'll have to read a book to find a treat.
Maybe.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yes. We also have Heidi Walker. She'll be coming in, tell us about Hospice Month, which November is.
Now that you're retiring, do you have a special interest? Please, put me on hospice. Get me out of my misery.
Oh, yes. And the Idaho State Police will be in today at 8:30.
Yes.
So lots of stuff going on. Man, I don't mind telling you, I am exhausted. I am just exhausted with all the, I mean, it was a busy week politically and just a lot of stuff going on.
Crazy.
A lot of stuff to think about. And
also what people don't realize, it's political season. You know, we talk about it every day. We research stuff every day. But then when you have candidates on, you have to research them. You might have to watch their debates. You know, you have to be on top of stuff as well. So it's a lot of extra homework, which I'm glad is over. Like my brain hurt on some days. I'm like, it just hurts.
And you have to contact their opponent to allow them to have equal time. Not all of them.
Then you research them.
I
mean, there's a lot of stuff to keep on. I know people think we don't do any research at all. At least I don't. Contrary to popular belief.
I just sit here, put my feet up, and, listen to the music.
Yeah.
But at any rate.
I wish there was music.
So it's going to be a busy morning, and the age-old story is back. A lot of the stores are going to be opening earlier and earlier on Thanksgiving Day. And I know, Jill, that just plucks your last nerve.
If I have a last nerve at this point, it is severely plucked on this one. But we're going to be talking about that at 9 o'clock. Let us know what you think. I'll tell you how I feel then. But, yeah. No, my nerve is frazzled anyway. Now it's like being plucked.
Well, at any rate, for anyone expecting that from the Washington Associated Press, an interesting article today. And I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one who noticed this.
What?
For anyone expecting post-election contrition at the White House or vows to change course after a disastrous election for Democrats, President Barack Obama had one message Wednesday. Think again. Ain't gonna happen.
He's still president.
And he got a resounding thumbs down from the voting public about the job that he is doing. That's what Tuesday was about.
Tuesday was
it wasn't about telling the Republicans to get in there and compromise and do your job. It was about telling the president that we don't like the way you are doing things. We want this to change. And he is essentially saying, well, I'm not going to change. It's going to have to be them coming to me and offering some sort of compromise because I'm not going to change. And he's holding up that executive order pen of his, I'm going to use this if I have to. He didn't even get the message.
Well, what message did he get? When every Republican ran on ISIS and Ebola, he said, fine, then let's put, $6.9 billion into fighting ISIS and Ebola. I guess he's listened. I mean, no one ran on their records locally. No one ran on their records. They ran against ISIS, Ebola. Can you tell me one message from any of our Republicans that run on what they were going to do when they got back to Washington? No. So, you know what? But the interesting thing is a lot of issues on the ballot were Democratic issues that passed, even in red states. Minimum wage went up in the 4 red states, paid sick leave, reproductive rights, things like that were voted down. Personhood messages were voted down. Those are issues that are Democratic issues that passed by the voters in red states.
That is true.
So,
true.
You can't sit there and say, I mean, if anyone actually ran on that stuff, if Mitch McConnell came out and ran and said, I'm taking away your health insurance, which he did not do, but now all of a sudden he's going to repeal Obamacare. If you really think that the president is going to say, yes, I'm going to repeal my signature legislation that's helped 10 million people, you're nuts.
He's ignoring the public.
The public didn't vote on that.
Are you kidding me?
They did not vote on that.
The Senate is going to have the most Republican senators it has had since World War II. The House picked up a huge amount of Republicans. It was a resounding message from the public, and you're still blinded by it. Oh, no, that wasn't a message for the president or what he's doing. That was a message for those dastardly Republicans. It wasn't. Well, actually, it was. It was like, keep doing what you're doing, only we need more of it.
Actually, well, when the president won and he had both houses of Congress, I didn't see the Republicans going, yes, let's do everything the president wanted, because we heard a message. Their first message on the night that he was on his inauguration, the first term, were meeting to say, how can we block everything that he's done? And Mitch McConnell, who, if he actually held his campaign message, his message was, my big thing is to make President Obama one-term president. He didn't do that. Maybe the voters of Kentucky said, you didn't hold up your campaign message, because he's now been reelected twice, or reelected again. That was their messages. So they didn't sit there and say, yes, there's a resounding thing. We'll work with the president. They've never worked with the president. Now to come out and go, oh, we're going to compromise and work with the president. Right. Let's see this happen.
If they've never worked with the president, as you say,
are you kidding me?
Then the public must be in favor of that.
What have they worked with the president
for? Because they elected more
Republicans.
That's the point I'm trying to get across.
And all they campained on was ISIS and Ebola.
The people must be in favor of that. Have you seen the latest map for the House of Representatives? It's almost all red after Tuesday's election.
Actually, and what happens at midterms, it usually happens the other party will win more. And actually, we didn't
it did.
So what? What? But you're not going to have...
Oh, they really didn't mean that. That always happens.
But do you really think the president is going to sign a bill that cancels out the Affordable Care Act that's helping 10 million people? Do you really think that's going to happen? And if he doesn't, they're going to say he didn't work with us? I mean, get a grip.
If he's going to do what the American people are telling him to do.
The American people didn't vote and say we don't want our health care.
Oh, my goodness.
Where did they vote and say that?
I don't know why I even started this conversation. I knew you weren't going to understand.
That doesn't make sense. No one sat there and voted, I don't want my health care.
Any difference what the voters say or voters want. It's all about Obama. It's all about Obama. Whatever he wants, whatever he's doing is just right, and everybody else is wrong.
Well, when he ran on health care, and the Republicans didn't vote for it the first time when it passed, even though the entire American public,
and they've seen what it is, and they don't like it.
That is not true.
What do you mean it's not true?
10 million people have health insurance.
Then why did so many Republicans get elected into office?
Because they campaigned on ISIS and Ebola and said
Belukov
was a liberal and will raise taxes. They never campaign and what they'll do.
Oh, my goodness.
Find an ad that says find something they'll do.
Top story, you are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Kelly. Good morning.
Good morning.
Cal, we can read, listen, we can read anything we want, and as long as it fits our narrative. And that narrative is. So now, when you got Fox News and everybody spending $95 million on them spreading fear every day, and also Rush Limbaugh, $80 million a year, Sean Hannity, $120 million a year, all day long, just throwing fear at people. You think, and if you notice the legislature that the House passed, none of it was spending for people. You can check all the bills that never made it to the Senate, and all of them were just to benefit the rich. Well, if I was spending $95 million on Glenn Beck a year so he can spread my message, don't you think I want to return him that money? Heck yeah. So let's put that into a factor, too.
Yeah, the people have spoken.
No,
the president is not listening.
Oh,
that is the bottom line.
But when the people
He's
spoke
not going to listen. He
8 years
doesn't
ago,
care what the
Republicans
people want.
didn't listen.
He has his own agenda.
Hey.
He's just going to do what he wants. He's going to take that executive order pen and he's going to go crazy with it.
And you know what? Try to win a presidential election because you're not going to.
Top story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, I like the conversation. And to pop somebody's bubble, I did vote against Obama for executive order. I voted against Obama for Obamacare and forced purchase of something I don't want. And I did vote against Obama and the Democrats for stalling everything in the Senate. The House passed plenty of bills, but they all got stalled in the Senate because Harry Reid wouldn't take them up.
Well,
that's what I voted for.
What, in this election?
In this election.
So for school superintendent, you had Obama in mind?
Absolutely.
Well, that's insane.
You got to stop all of this executive fiasco and stop this Obamacare that's going to break this country.
You know what? 55 of those bills that went to the Senate were to repeal the Affordable Care Act. Do you really think Harry Reid's going to vote on that? Do you really think the president's going to sign legislation that would repeal his signature health care bill? Do you really think 10 million people who now have health insurance, kids that are on their parents' insurance, we don't have pre-existing condition qualifications anymore? Do you really think that's what people want? Where's a Republican plan? Why don't you guys come up with some kind of a plan on how to do something? There you go. That's hard, isn't it?
The people have spoken. And now the liberals are trying to say, no, that's really not what they meant. That's not what they meant. The president is really on the right track. He needs to keep on doing what he's doing. That's what the Republicans
said 8 years ago.
And the voters have spoken, and they said, no, we don't like this. But the liberals just can't stand that message, so they're not going to listen to it. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. You need to get a hold of Pat Hartzell with Stanley & Company because he can set you up with one of those low and honey loaders. Now, if you don't have a big feedlot or dairy operation, chances are you don't need one. But if you do have one of those, chances are you can't live without it. And you can see one of these in operation by getting a hold of Pat Hartzell, and he can set you up so you can see one. You can talk to the owner. You can, just look around it and tear it apart and analyze it and see if one of these things would work on your operation. Pat Hartzell is the guy, 280-1167 with Stanley. Why did I say it's not
I don't know.
Stanley.
You're like...
Stanley and
I can't control what comes out of your mouth. I wish I could some days. Like, I really do.
Being the progressive liberal that you are, you would love to be able to control what I say.
Pinch me.
So, anyway. But the voters won't let you do it.
Oh, please.
Meanwhile, back on Earth, we have Erica Littlefield with us from the Twin Falls Public Library. Good morning, Erica.
Good morning, Erica.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So
it's always great.
What's coming up at the library?
So we have a very fun event this Saturday. It's called Dessert in the Stacks, and it's from 7 to 9 at the library. And basically, it's a celebration of the 75th anniversary of the 1939 library building.
So it's 7 at night or 7 in the morning?
7 at night.
Okay, yeah.
So it's after the library is closed. Should be a lot of fun. We'll have lots of different yummy desserts that you can have. The CSI Swing Band is going to be playing some live music. We'll have different historical displays up about the library. And it's kind of interesting. There's been a public library in Twin Falls since 1909.
Wow.
But we didn't have a permanent building until 1939. And that's when the original library building was built. And then it was added onto in 1975 and then added onto again in 1991. So this year is the 75th anniversary of the 1939 building. So we're just having a big celebration of that part of the building. It's absolutely beautiful. The architecture, the beautiful tile floors.
It's a great building, yeah.
It's very, very cool. So we just wanted to celebrate it and highlight it.
You know, we don't build things like we used to.
Oh, absolutely.
We really don't.
It's hard to get all that marble in and
well, but and the expense.
No, it's true.
And if you look at the courthouse with all that
awesome.
work, that scrolling work around it, I mean,
It's
frankly,
awesome.
there are very few craftsmen anymore who can do that kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they can pre-do it and send it in and just put it in, but that's not
It's
quite
not
the same.
You did pique up Kelly's interest with dessert in the
Yes.
stacks. He thought he might actually go to the library and open a book to find a dessert. How does this? Are they hidden in the stacks, or is it just a play on words?
It's just a play on words. We will have several different dessert tables set up throughout the 1939 building, so you can kind of wander around. Again, look at the different historical displays, have the desserts. We'll have a photo booth downstairs where you can come and you can get your picture taken and get a little commemorative bookmark.
Do a selfie with your book.
Exactly, absolutely. You could grab your favorite book, go in, get your picture taken. The neat thing too is we are going to have everyone enter through the original entrance, not through the 1991 building. So you'll go up those neat stairs into the original 1939 building.
Cool.
We encourage everyone to kind of dress up. We want to make it kind of a fun, fancy event. We are gearing it for adults. There's no fee. It's absolutely free to come in, and there'll be some welcome remarks probably about 7:30, and otherwise you can just take in the building and learn a little bit more about the history and have
someone
a lot of fun.
is donating the desserts. Do you want to give them some mention? Or?
Albertsons is doing the desserts for us. We are purchasing them
Okay.
from Albertsons.
Okay. Sorry.
But again, we've got the CSI Swing Band coming. We've got the photo booth. There will be lots to see and do.
So is it going to be kind of like an old theme, with the swing band, kind of
Men dressed
retro?
in their top hats. And
Ooh, I don't know. I hope the band dresses up. That would be very cool. But they are going to be playing, the 30s, 40s swing music.
That'd be fun.
We wanted to create that vibe since it is the 1939 building.
1939, yeah, the year the stock market crashed. No, that was 1929, wasn't it?
Whatever. It doesn't, Maybe you need to go and read a book about it, Kelly. You might have a few on that, right?
How much bigger is the current library than the original building?
So I'm not sure the square footage of the original 1939 building, but our total building now is about, I want to say 40 or 41,000 square feet. Okay. It's, 3 stories, and, for a community our size, it is a really nice size library. We have over 200,000 items. We have ebooks that we offer now. So since 1939, we have really kind of changed with the times and tried to keep up with what our patrons want and what they're interested in. And so, yeah, we've expanded a lot over the years.
Before we run out of time, let's go over the time and the place and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Again.
So, again, it's this Saturday from 7 to 9 at the Twin Falls Public Library. And it is a free event for anyone. We are gearing it for adults. And we want everyone to enter from the original 1939 entrance across from the park.
I'm assuming if you're handicapped, you can still go in.
Absolutely. Okay. Yes, that will still be accessible. But, again, since we wanted to highlight the 39 building, we want everyone to go into that entrance. So
yeah.
Because they didn't have the American
reasonable.
Disabilities Act back then, Kelly,
they did
either.
Not.
I
they
know,
did not.
along with the crash. Erica, you did such a great job. So enthusiastic. Way to go.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for telling us about it. Sounds like fun.
We might stop by. It sounds like a good time.
All right.
Thank you.
We have the Idaho State Police in next here on Top Story.
Much more
736-0300 is the number to call here this morning.
You know what?
On
We're
Top
changing
Story.
the whole
Welcome back.
segment. We're just going to pull Sergeant Keith Thompson into politics, buddy. You have now. It's a throwdown. It's a throwdown. Don't start with me on politics. And I've got a hot scalding water in my cup.
Oh man, I told you, buddy, don't go there.
Yeah, he couldn't help himself, could he?
You just as well
It's
hold
just like
your breath.
prodding a bull.
Just hold your breath. It just doesn't do any good. We have with us Sergeant Keith Thompson from the Idaho State Police with us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, aside from politics, what's going on out
Yeah,
there?
because we're not going there.
I'm not going there. I can't go there right now.
No, you can't. Let's hope you get out of the studio safely.
No, everything's been going well. I mean, we've had some few crashes. We did, I think we had a fatal not too long ago, but everything seems to be going good for most part. Our only thing that we're noticing and talking to the other troopers and talking to my lieutenant and stuff is people are still driving too close to each other. Tailgating.
Yeah.
And, there's a rule. We learned it in driver's ed. You should be able to count 1001, 1002, 1003 for the distance. So if a car in front of you goes past a milepost or something, you should be able to count 1001, 1002, 1003 before the front end of your car hits that same milepost.
Yeah.
But how does that interfere with when you're texting? It's really disturbing when you're texting.
It does, because to text and do that both
Yeah.
it is a nuisance.
And to count too, my gosh.
Yes.
And drive.
Maybe on your text, on your little, Android or something, you could put that timer in there. So.
Yeah.
But
So are you seeing more of that, distracted driving?
yeah, and that's really common. We get multiple calls every day about people going over the fog lines. Now, in the old days, that used to be, there's a good chance we got an impaired driver on the road. Nowadays, it's more like, someone's texting and driving, or someone's falling asleep and driving, or someone's eating and driving, and so, but we get a lot of calls on that every day.
That's interesting.
It's amazing.
Everybody
but
has a cell phone now. So.
Well, you see someone, I've called.
They're dialing on their cell phone to report that somebody's ahead of them texting.
Well, I'm hoping they're on hands-free when they tell us that, but yes.
No, I saw someone, definitely, I thought he was impaired, and I called, and the fact that he went into a gas station, then they said, well, he's no longer driving. We can't do anything. I was like, are you kidding me? I gave him the license plate, the truck, whatever. I mean, it was really disturbing that he was going to hit someone, and he seemed like he was on drugs. I saw his face, because he passed me like over the median. And what do you do when you see something like that? I did call him, but they're like, now that he stopped, you can't do anything.
But you got to realize also, I mean, we're limited. We're the amount of officers out there, and I know you think you see a lot, but they got. And if you're not state, then you got boundaries, you got county boundaries and everything like that. And they got multiple calls. And when people are calling in on the complaint, I want them to call in on the complaint. But sometimes, I'm halfway across the state, and I might be the nearest trooper. The deputies, might be tied up in something else. And so sometimes it's just we can't get there.
So if someone stops driving, you can't do it. Would you have to wait for them to start up again because he went into a gas station?
I don't think you'd have to do that. I don't know what the whole situation is there. If you called our agency and we're in the area, we're not busy with something else at that time, and you wanted us to check on that person, there's no reason why we couldn't check on them necessarily.
Okay.
You'd have to specifically say, I want this person checked in, and then maybe get back with me once that's done. If someone, I'll be honest with you, if someone just calls in anonymously, and I'm not against that, if they want to do that, that's fine. But if they call in anonymously and we find that vehicle, and that vehicle is driving as straight as the line that's beside it, then...
Yeah, nothing you can do. You have to actually see it.
We're not going to do anything on that.
Yeah. We got winter driving coming up here, too. Any tips for that?
Yeah, just some of the same stuff. Of course, that space thing is going to be key in winter driving. You might want to even increase that space. But how are your tires doing? I was looking at my wife's tires, and you know what? She's due some new tires.
I know, I am too.
And I, and I know the tire stores are excited about that, but we probably need to get some new tires on, and maybe invest in some chains. I love some of those deals that some of the stores have. If you don't use the chains, you can bring them back, and they'll reimburse you on some of those stores. But I always went with that year after year, and then one year I needed them.
Yeah.
And or sit on the highway for the next 50 hours waiting for a snowplow.
Yeah.
And what should you do if you're in the winter driving? If you are taking a longer trip, what should you pack in your car? Because you could break down.
Right. You need to have some water. You need to have something to keep heat. Clothes, blankets, that type of stuff. Also realize, and I don't know what gets into people when we close a road. or when ITD closes a road, you know, that little sign that comes across the roadway doesn't mean go around and go with due caution. It means it's closed.
Right.
Because if you go off in that roadway, we got two-wheel drive cars mostly. We can't come after you.
Right.
The reason why we close the road is we can no longer get back there to help you if you get stranded.
Better hope you pack some Tic Tacs so you can survive for 49 days.
and you don't know when the snowplows might come.
No, you don't.
So.
Well, thanks for those tips, Sergeant
Yeah.
Keith Thompson, Idaho State Police.
And be
Thanks
safe
for what
out
you do.
there.
Yeah,
Be
no
safe in
kidding.
the studio right now. I don't know.
We're going to sneak out.
We're going to talk Hospice Month coming up next with Heidi Walker here on Top Story.
Thank you.
7360300, the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Before we start talking about Hospice Month, I wanted to talk about Dave Hansen and the crew at Canyon Pond because they've got all sorts of stuff. Now, remember, I told you to go in there yesterday and check out and see what they had on the shelves. So if you didn't find what you were looking for or maybe something you were interested in, try it again today because it is a pawn shop, and that's how they work. They have different inventory every day. Camping stuff, woodworking stuff. They got jewelry. They got watches. They've got all sorts of guns. It's a nice, big, clean store, and it's the newest pawn shop in Twin Falls, and it's right across from Will's Toyota on Shoshone Street at 3rd Avenue South. Can't miss it. Big sign out front says Canyon Pawn. And you can call them if you're looking for something specific, 933-2600, and they'll look for it for you.
There you go.
All righty, we have with us this morning Heidi Walker and Benita Buell, and we're going to talk Hospice Month. Now, you're from Hospice.
I'm from Hospice Visions,
Okay.
and Benita's from Horizon. However, today we're representing the South Central Quality of Life Coalition. So collectively, as hospices, we're here representing that for National Hospice and Palliative Care Month.
Heidi, should it be Hospi? No, I'm kidding. What is the coalition?
The coalition
Welcome to my world.
It just made me think, okay, go on. Sorry.
That's
Sorry
quite
for
all
a little
right.
levity with hospice.
The South Central Quality of Life Coalition was formed actually in the Magic Valley in 2004, and it was the Palliative Care Coalition. Then it went on to the Magic Valley End of Life Coalition. But end of life, people don't really like that in titles. They don't like talking about it. We always say talking about death won't kill you, but
it's going to kill all of us. Really, we're all terminal. It's just a matter of when, right? No one's living forever, right, Heidi?
Right. So the coalition, our purpose is to help educate and advocate for, advanced care planning, end of life issues, and so that's why we're here today.
And it's growing. This issue of hospice is becoming more popular.
Well, I am very proud to say today, with National Hospice and Palliative Care, hospice is 40 years old. They're having a big birthday celebration. So we've come a long way as a nation with end-of-life care.
Yeah. So, Benita, what's your position in all of this?
For or against? What do you mean? Come on.
So I've been a hospice RN and worked in hospice care for over 10 years. And I have a unique standpoint because I myself was on hospice for 4 months with a brain tumor.
Oh, my.
And then
Really?
revoked my hospice benefit so I could seek additional treatment. But I am very much an advocate for early on being very open and honest with our loved ones about, do we want life support? What would happen if you were in a car accident? How long would you want to be kept on life support? How would you want your loved ones to intervene?
Right.
And to have those conversations early.
Yeah.
I just had an uncle die in his early 50s, went in for a back surgery, went home, was recovering and doing great, and a week later developed meningitis and woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a headache, and 24 hours later, within a couple hours, his wife had to know, okay, how much life support do we do?
Oh, my
and
goodness.
And if he hadn't had that conversation the week before when he had surgery of, okay, if I die, I want to be taken back to Montana, and this is what I want you to do. So those are conversations that we shouldn't wait until we are on our deathbed to talk about. And I think hospice sometimes gets a odd stigma attached to it that people think we're going to help you, or it's almost
like a Dr. Kevorkian thing.
Almost think it's an assisted suicide. And really it's making the most of your days and your times, honoring your life, helping you fulfill some of those last dreams, assisting the family through all those flood of emotions that you didn't think you would have, and making their last days as comfortable and rich and full as possible. And we have people that have been on hospice for a couple of years sometimes, and it's making sure that those couple of years are not full of pain and anguish, or they're not just nauseated and sick all the time, or that if they have breathing issues, that we can help them with that, so that those years can just be full and rich and memorable for everybody involved, in a positive experience, instead of remembering our loved ones of, oh, just remember how much they suffered at the end. And that's really the difference of what hospice can do.
It's really hard, and I saw it firsthand. My stepfather, had lung cancer, and towards the end, hospice nurses came in, and it's just amazing what you guys do and how you comfort the family. Because really, a family member, you have no idea, when they're dying, it's so traumatic. But you have someone there comforting you, telling you what's happening, comforting them, actually even knowing that he's going to last the next 15 minutes, making sure the family's there, so you don't miss something. I mean, really, it was such a comfort, and I thought, I could never do this. I can never do this. But I thought you guys were just like amazing heroes, unsung heroes, and people don't realize the value you bring to someone and someone's family. It's really amazing. And my hat's off to both of you, because it's an awful, awful time.
I think one of the things to realize too is you're not just there for the person who is dying. You're there for all of their loved ones.
Yeah.
And so you're kind
That's a huge part of it.
Would it be fair to say you're kind of an intermediary?
It is. And I think like the biggest thing that we hear from people is, I wish we would have involved you sooner, because they don't understand. A lot of people don't understand the opportunities of, wow, I can have a volunteer come and be with me. So while mom is too poor
doing
to get out of bed,
yeah.
The couple that are the caregivers can go on a date, can go have dinner, can go to their son's graduation and not worry about grandma.
I think a lot of people think, oh, it's just right at the end. Mm-hmm. Hospice is right when you're about to go.
And then the other part of it that a lot of people are not aware of is the bereavement benefit. We're required to follow families for 13 months following the time of death. So if a caregiver is just really having a traumatic time of, the holidays are here and this is the first time without our loved one, all the feelings that go along with that and the frustration. We have chaplains and social workers, an entire bereavement team, social work groups, all that kind of thing, to support people through those huge landmarks.
Is that in different states or nationwide? Because my mom was in Texas. I don't remember that part of people following up with her.
It's nationwide. I mean, it's not a mandatory component to hospice, but I think
it is a component.
Most quality hospices absolutely do follow that.
Because that would be helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
What hospice does is you actually have a per diem per day. Let's say you enact the Medicare benefit, then you receive so much money per day, and it encompasses the RN case manager, the social worker, the chaplain, a volunteer, a CNA. So you have all that extra support. It pays for your medical equipment and your medication related to your diagnosis. So hospice, and it's always kind of breaks my heart when I see that maybe somebody's, just been signed on to hospice 7 days prior to them, passing away, or 3 days.
Right.
And so that's why we want to encourage people to have these conversations with your physician, because it is your choice. Mm-hmm. It does have to be a doctor's order.
Oh, okay.
So your physician, has to state that you have 6 months or less if your disease continues. But a lot of times you can have recertification periods, because, physicians aren't God. I mean, they can't tell the future.
If
they
it's 6
think
months,
they are,
that
though,
doesn't
sometimes.
mean that on the last day of the 6th month you better die, or you're going to lose
right,
all your...
because sometimes disease, we just can't predict that. So you have recertification periods, and right now Medicare, they've really done a lot of stringent protocol now with hospice. Hospice was really under the gun recently, and but now before hospices, I think they were surveyed like once every 7 years or something, and we had been advocating. Wow. We go to the Heal every year.
Come and go in 7 years.
We do advocacy. We go to the Heal every year to try to make changes in hospice. And so recently, we're very grateful that they passed legislation that now hospices have to be surveyed every 3 years.
Oh, good.
So we're going to be, held to a good standard, and we want to be held to a good standard.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, some people think that it's very difficult and that you shouldn't, because I think it's more uncomfortable for the person who's not sick to talk to their loved one about death. You know, a lot of times the person who's sick wants to, and the family members can't deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, what do you say about that?
Heidi has a great line, no pumpkin pie until you tell me how you want to die. And I think that is it's very honest and noble. A lot of people recommend that every year as an anniversary gift to each other, that we're just really honest about, as a favor to you, I don't want you to be burdened about wondering what I really think, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we really trust and love our loved ones, we need to be honest with them even about those very, very personal feelings. And so just establishing that in our youth even, that it's just a comfortable thing to be honest about our whole life spectrum. And I think it's very honorable. There's no shame in admitting that all of us, like you said, are terminal. And being, I think it's a tremendous gift, just as we would buy life insurance so that we didn't have to worry about our loved ones.
It's almost though like if they're sick and they admit they're going to die, then they're going to die. You know, because the family members always hold out hope. Like, oh, no, you're going to, you know, if you just did this, or, you know, it's going to work. And then I think when they start to admit, okay, this is how I die, like they've given in. You know what I mean? That kind of psychological feeling. But you just talk about it like over dinner, anytime.
Mm-hmm. Well, and so
how do you want to die? How do you want to die, Kelly?
This is what I want to encourage everyone to do. With the holidays coming up, we've got Thanksgiving, and that's, you know, with the holidays, you have family gatherings.
Oh,
and
no,
this
sir,
is
you're not going there, Heidi. You are not.
I'm going there because this is the perfect time, as Benita said.
No pumpkin pie till you tell me how you want to die.
And then the family was like, I'll kill you, all right, you know.
It's better than Black Thursday sales, right?
It's next segment.
Really important. It's just vital that you have these conversations, you know. And I know that, I mean, we're in the hospice industry, and I know personally for me, you know, I say, well, it's all fun and games until it's your terminal diagnosis. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, so
does Heidi have a weird sense of humor?
Yes, I do. We both worked in hospice too long, I think.
I love it.
It is a part
hilarious.
of life, you know, just as birth, death is a part of life. And
so Heidi, how do you bring it up when you go past the turkey and Uncle Bob? How would you like to die? Like, how does it? You know, that's a hard transition here.
Well, that is why the South Central Quality of Life and the Idaho Quality of Life Coalition, we have tools and we have, you know, social workers that actually will help you guide these conversations. I just kind of want to give some statistics. I love research, and I just want to share with you how far Idaho has come in helping people have these conversations.
So we're not last on the list here.
No,
right?
no,
Okay,
we should be very proud of Idaho after I read these statistics. In 2002, Idaho received a D in a report that graded each state on end-of-life care. The report was titled Means to a Better End, a report on dying in America today. And so since then, in 2002, coalitions were formed all over the state, and then we actually formed the Idaho Quality of Life Coalition, and then some legislation passed in the state of Idaho, which is really cool. And Idaho is actually looked at as a leader in advanced directives, advanced care planning, and the POST, which is the Physician's Order of Scope of Treatment, which replaced the DNR. So with that being said, in 2005, the Idaho Medical Consent Natural Death Act statute is revised and is streamlined, combining the living will and durable power of attorney for health care into one document. And one of the reasons Idaho is being looked at is that you can actually go online, and if you're not able to go online, you can go into any senior center, you can call any hospice in the Magic Valley, because we're all part of the South Central Quality of Life Coalition. And we, like I said, our social workers will help guide you with this process, that you can actually go online and register your advanced directives.
Where can they go? Because we're running out of time, Heidi, if you can
20
believe.
minutes on the subject of death and dying. I'm proud of us all.
What website and what number could they call?
Okay, you can actually go to the Idaho Quality of Life website, which is www.idqol.org, or you can call 208-841-1862, or local hospices. So you could just, Google or look in the phone book hospices and call any hospice, and we would be more than happy to assist and guide your family in filling out advance directives.
All right, very good.
Which
we
they
could
all
go
should
on and
have.
on with this, too, but
I
we're out of
know.
time right now. Heidi Walker and Benita
Thank
Buell.
you so
Thank you very much. We
much.
appreciate it. Good
you
information.
make an
here
interesting
today.
topic fun, too.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Next hour, we're going to talk about stores staying open on Thanksgiving and more. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after the news. And we're back. 7360300 is always the number to call. Welcome back, Jill.
Thanks, Kelly. Same to you.
It's a little bit chilly this morning. It's like 38, and the low was 34.
Wow.
So, and there was a little bit of frost on the pumpkin this morning, too.
You got a pumpkin out there?
No, but it was in my windshield of my car. Actually, we do have a pumpkin on the front stoop.
You do?
Yeah, my wife
Wow.
decorates for all the seasons. So
Yeah,
we
you
have a
know
little bale
what?
of straw out there. And
My neighbor, who was a former principal, teacher, counselor, yada, yada, she's 86. But when you go, we have coffee from time to time every few weeks. Got to catch up. She's so amazing. But everything's decorated. I think it's school teachers. You decorate the classroom.
That's right.
I mean, she has everything in there for Halloween it was, and now it's Thanksgiving.
That's probably why my wife does that.
Yeah.
Because she was a teacher for 27 years.
They probably bought a ton of stuff out of their own pocket.
Oh, absolutely.
Decorated the classroom for the little monsters. And,
but never looked at it and never appreciated it.
Threw it on the floor, broke it. And, but yeah, I think it's teachers, her porch is always, I always feel so inadequate. I'm like, this woman's 86. I have nothing on my porch. Maybe I should do something. I don't know.
Well, you do have something on your porch. It's those bags from the Boy Scouts.
They picked it up.
Did they?
I forgot to get, because of Monday we had Rish right out of the box.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I forgot to thank Rex and the Boy Scouts. All of a sudden, I swear it was about 10 in the morning. I was so tired Saturday. I had like a double week. It felt like the week before, really, between stuff I do after work and cooking, whatever. So all of a sudden it's like 10 in the morning, and I'd been up since 6, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my canned foods. I have to put it out there. If they come by and I don't have something, I put it out at 10.
Especially after all that to-do you went through on the show with Captain Kirk.
10:30, I heard the little footsteps, and they grabbed them. So thank you.
Well, very cool. Well, we have a little news here. We thought, we could talk about politics again, but I don't know about you. I am kind of tired of the political deal. I am so glad. Although we made a ton of money during the campaign season.
Are we going to get a raise? Are we going to get a bonus? You keep saying it. Why do you say it? Do we get a bonus
That's not
here?
up to me. You'll have to ask the boss.
All right.
But anyway, I'm so glad that the political ads are behind us now, and we can kind of get back to semi-abnormal. And as somebody said on Facebook, now we can get back to the Viagra and Cialis ads,
Oh, good. With the long side effects.
Yes. Anyway, so we're going to talk about stores opening early for Thanksgiving, for Black Friday and stuff. We're going to get your thoughts on that. But we do have a couple of news stories today.
Yeah, okay. Bring them on.
And no more politics
Thank
for
you.
today. Yeah. 2.5 years after he disappeared, the body of 20th Century Fox executive Gavin Smith has been found and positively identified. According to the LA County Coroner's Office, hikers discovered the remains on October 26th in a rural area of Palmdale in the high desert. Now, I don't know if you remember when this happened or not. It was in the news and everything.
Do.
Gavin Smith, big Fox, 20th Century Fox executive Gavin Smith. And they showed a picture of him, and he's like in his 50s, and he looks like a model from GQ.
Well, he used to be, I think he used to be an actor, and he used to do stuff like that. But did you read the rest of the story?
Oh, yeah.
Go on,
He
Kelly.
disappeared May 1st, 2012. He was last seen wearing purple pants.
Purple shorts. I think it was running shorts or something.
And black and gray shoes at a friend's home in Oak Park, California.
Purple pants, yeah.
The Hollywood noted the handsome 57-year-old left the property in his black 2000 Mercedes-Benz. On February 21st, Smith's car was found inside a Simi Valley storage facility that was connected to convicted drug dealer John Creech.
Yeah, this is never good.
Smith, who had a history of drug use, was allegedly having an affair with Creech's wife, Chandrika.
That never helps.
A drug lord and you are having an affair with his wife, you must have a suicide.
No, he had to have been on drugs. He had to have been on drugs to do that move. Are you kidding me? You are on drugs, and now you're buying drugs from the drug lord and having an affair with his wife. He's from the movie business. None of these stories work out well with that. That's not a good storyline here.
Creech's wife and Gavin were in rehab together.
Yes.
Oh, what a nice place to meet
This is
someone.
what happens. People do meet at rehab.
So they struck up a relationship, and that is basically the starting point of Mr. Creech being looked at as a possible suspect.
You think?
Lieutenant Dave Dolson of the L.A. County Sheriff's Department said. A former movie actor and 18-year veteran of Fox's distribution department, Smith worked as the branch manager for theaters in Dallas and Oklahoma City. In college, he played basketball at UCLA and was part of the John Wooden 1975 National Championship team.
John Wooden. You said Wooden.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
That was a great basketball team. That was great. I remember following it. Yeah.
After his disappearance, Smith's family offered a $20,000 reward for information that would help investigators solve the case.
So his wife can kill him.
Yeah. Yeah, but she doesn't have to now.
We shouldn't laugh, but I am sorry. You'd have to be on drugs to strike up a relationship with a drug kingpin. Good
wife, the wife.
The wife of the drug kingpin. But the guy kept the car. I mean, he should have just done it off a cliff. Make it look like a car accident.
Yeah, I don't know. So
anyway, that's
the story.
One more
Gavin
case
Smith.
solved. Dragnet. One more case solved. Dun,
yes, indeed.
Dun, 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 dun.
Another interesting story. Working an irregular shift pattern may be causing long-term damage to people's memory and mental abilities, new research has shown.
This explains a lot.
Shift work can disrupt the body's internal clock in a similar way to jet lag and has been linked before to an increased risk of health problems, such as heart problems and even some cancers. So how about that? So if you're working the graveyard, from now for a while, and then they switch you to swing shift, and then you're on the day shift.
It's hard on your health.
However, scientists have now found a link between working shifts and a decline in brain function, especially among those whose shifts rotated between morning, afternoon, and night. In a study of 3,000 people living in France, scientists found, this is France. So
what, you reported something from the UK yesterday on our elections. Come on.
It's not even. I mean, French people are different than American people.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, scientists found that those who worked rotating shifts performed significantly worse in memory and cognitive speed tests than people who had worked regular hours.
I believe that. I mean, think about it. When you have babies, you put them on schedules. When we become adults, you should have a schedule. You should eat at the regular times. You should sleep. Those are the healthiest things for your body. And when you screw it up like this all day long, the circadian rhythms we talked about with teenagers, it's the same thing here.
The level of cognitive decline seen in people who worked irregular shifts for 10 years was equivalent to 6.5 years worth of natural age-related cognitive decline, according to the researchers. Precisely how shift work might have an impact on brain function is not fully understood. So that's kind of interesting.
Well, a lot of people you used to work crazy hours.
I have worked crazy hours all of my life.
And you do have memory problems. You forget to hit buttons. You forget people's names. You forget what you're about to say, where your news stories are. I mean, are you in this study?
I didn't have to do a study to come to this.
Exhibit A.
At least I know it's not just me.
And also, you crave more carbohydrates when you are lack of sleep, even when you just do. It raises your blood sugar. You eat worse. You eat more junk food, which, Exhibit A again. So, you know what? It's so much better to sleep, sleep regular times. People who have a
normal routine then must live longer than people who don't.
And they must have a better memory.
The ones who get up in the morning at precisely 6:30, they go in and they wash their teeth a certain way and they do everything throughout the day.
Not that routine, but like you wake up at a certain time. And a lot of the older generation, you know how they live? Like my neighbor, 86 years old, she is so active. They wake up, they have their breakfast, they have their meal times. We all know that if you don't have dinner by 5 for some of these people, are you kidding me?
Oh,
yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the most important thing. It regulates everything. It regulates your hormones. It regulates your bowels, intestines. If you have trouble with that, everything is regular if you're regular. We do that for babies. We need to do that for ourselves.
I have to say that's an important thing because, once in a while, my mother-in-law will take us out to lunch or something, and it has to be at precisely noon.
Yeah. Right.
There's not at 11:55.
No.
Not at 12:05.
No.
Noon. And I'm kind of like, what if we kind of
wait
a little bit for the crowd
me.
to kind of disperse? No, it's got to be.
You try to do that to me. Can't we do 1:30? I'm like, no, that's not lunch. We eat lunch at 12:30 in my house. We eat breakfast at 7:15. Within 15 minutes, we eat dinner at 6:30. I mean, that's it's the healthiest thing for you.
Yeah.
And the older generation does it. We have lost that in our society.
Oh yeah, we have ours.
Which leads us into the next topic.
Well, I was going to say, with the society that we have nowadays, we really don't need a kitchen table.
Some people, and some realtor, whatever, told me that this house had no dining room table. I mean, no room for it.
Yeah.
Because all of their kids, this was the saddest story I thought, all of their kids took their meals, went into their separate bedrooms, and ate while watching TV.
Oh, wow.
I think that's child abuse.
So when they're done, do they leave the dirty dishes just outside the door?
I didn't get to that part.
Someone
I was
comes
just
around and picks them up.
More horrified. Yeah, they ring a bell. More horrified by that story. Eat together. And then with Thanksgiving coming up.
Oh, and speaking
of
Thanksgiving.
That's the topic. Yeah, that was a segue, Cal.
J.C. Penney announced Wednesday that its Black Friday sales will begin at 5 p.m. on Thanksgiving, 3 hours earlier than last year.
I think that's terrible. I think it's terrible for the employees, and I will never shop. Mark my words, I will never shop on Thanksgiving ever. Never. I will never. I will not support that. I will never do that. My view of Thanksgiving is it's a national holiday. You're there with your family. You're there to be together, and that is not. No, it's like they're bypassing this holiday altogether, and just rip into Christmas. And I just find it disgusting. I think it's awful because the CEOs of JCPenney, they're probably somewhere in their little home, maybe in Aspen or somewhere, having a wonderful Thanksgiving meal, sitting there with their feet up, eating their piece of pie, watching football as their little workers are out there on that day. I think it's awful. I really do. How do you guys feel?
7360300 is the number to call.
I will not shop on any store.
Now
never.
that we're kind of questioning how Jill really feels about this.
That nerve is plucked.
Well, there was a big conversation about it last year when
with
Macy's,
a lot
of the stores
and those
were
poor.
open
And
earlier.
I talked to those women the day they found out. I mean, they were not happy. I felt terrible for them. Some of them had to go. They were going to have to wake up at 1 a.m. and go into work. I mean, these are older women that have been there 25, 30 years. Come on, people.
Oh, wow. Let me call a wambulance.
I'm sorry,
for
but
crying out loud.
You
gotta be thankful you got a job.
It's a national holiday. Why aren't we respecting that?
If I had a business, I probably would have it closed on.
I would. Are you kidding me? Probably,
like
I would.
But you know what? Hey,
even if I was a restaurant,
if you don't like it, I mean, you can always find another job.
I know. Always after 30 years, and there's so many opportunities in Twin.
Maybe the owners, if they find it hard to hire people, and a lot of them take volunteers. They let people. Some people like to work on those holidays.
Some people
because they don't have family around, and it gives them something to do. They can make time and a half. So there's both sides to this story. 7360300, the number to call, and we'll be right back. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Welcome back. Yesterday's $100 instant winning name, and by the way,
what?
The word of the day is brought to you by the folks at the Happy Landing Restaurant. I'm going there today.
You're going to get pie?
2.5 hours. I might.
Okay.
I might.
I think you should, so you can then tell them what kind of pie, because they can get pie if they tell us.
All kinds of pie.
Okay.
So anyway, first-time visitors to the Happy Landing Restaurant, if you purchase a drink, tell them that you heard about it with Kelly and Jill here on Top Story. they'll give you a free piece of pie.
Free piece of pie.
Yeah, they said a lot of people have been doing that and actually been buying with their meals and everything. They've been very happy. So.
Oh, good.
It's at the airport, Twin Falls Airport. Nice thing about that is you don't have to be flying somewhere in order to eat there. It's a restaurant at the airport. You can watch the planes come and go.
Get there.
You know, you can talk to Heidi and Kelly and the servers there. They're fun.
And what do you think you'll order?
Today, I don't know. I haven't.
The world is your oyster, but I don't think they probably have oysters there today.
I don't know. They have interesting specials at times.
Okay, good. Well, you'll have to report back tomorrow.
I will. Okay. And anyway, the word of the day. I'm sorry. The name today. Yesterday's $100 instant winning name is Kathy Southwick.
Kathy Southwick, congratulations.
And your $100 word of the day for today is
yes,
money.
Money.
M-O-N-E-Y. You know, that thing that makes the world go round.
That buys elections. Money. Yes, I do. Money,
we weren't going to talk politics, Jill.
You asked me what makes the world go round. I said it buys elections. It makes the world go round.
I didn't ask you
yes,
what makes
you
it. I just said,
whatever.
you know, what
money.
makes the world go round. I
yeah.
made a statement, not a question.
Well, I added an editorial comment.
Anyway, go to our website, newsradio1310.com. Click on Word of the Day. Type in money, M-O-N-E-Y. Listen tomorrow. If you hear your name tomorrow and you play the word today, you win $100.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there you go.
That's
okay,
how easy that is.
So stores opening earlier. Are you going to shop earlier this year if the stores open? That is your question. 7360300. So far this year, Kmart, Sears, Macy's, and Walmart have said they will open stores on Thanksgiving Day.
But this is the earliest. Last year was 8 o'clock, wasn't it? I believe it was because it's 3 hours earlier.
There might have been some earlier. I don't
think so.
Now.
I think, but yeah, now it's 5 o'clock. But you know what? The problem and sad thing of it is, if we all don't go to the stores at 5 o'clock, they won't do it. If you go, you know, they say if there's no demand,
you have control.
Why
over
are
this.
you not home just enjoying the holiday? Why are they doing these great specials then? Can't they do it the next day?
So Kmart, Sears, Macy's, and Walmart that will be opening. Costco and Sam's Club are among the holdouts who refuse to open on the holiday.
I'm proud of them.
So
and I shop at Costco.
Are you going to shop if the stores open early? 7360300. Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kelly and Jill. I don't think they should be open. I think it's a family day. It should stay that way. I also feel that stores and stuff should be closed on Sunday for God's Day, so I might be a little different.
Yeah, that's going way back. But I can remember, in fact, we were just talking about this earlier this week. I can remember my family taking a trip to Missouri when I was a youngster. And back there, and it might even be that way in some places now. When you went into a grocery store, all you could get was food. You could not buy non-food items because the
blue laws. When I lived
is that what they called them? The
blue laws. When I lived in Texas, there were a lot of items that they had the aisles blocked off. You couldn't buy pantyhose on a Sunday in Texas. Yeah. So if you have a business meeting on Monday, you better check your pantyhose Saturday. If there's a hole in it, there's no way you're getting any on Sunday.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But these blue laws. But you know, in some areas and in the
but nowadays,
Hasidic Jews, the days are closed on Saturday. Yeah. I mean, that's their holy day.
Nowadays, Sundays are just like any other day.
But it's a national holiday. Come on, you know.
7360300. Top story. You're on the air. Are you going to shop early?
Oh, no, not me. Good morning, Kelly and Jill.
Well, good morning.
Where have you been?
Oh, I'm not sure. I've been around. Just listening to you guys. Hey, I can remember when I first started my law enforcement career in Maryland, we had the blue laws, and all stores were not opened on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if they were, they received a ticket. And it was very, very strict. This is back in the early 70s.
Yep, that's about right.
And even on a lot of stores were even closed on all holidays. My wife used to work at Safeway in Arizona, and all holidays it was closed.
That would be almost suicide today.
Because
your competitors are going to stay open.
Absolute greed.
Yeah. That's interesting.
It's sad, but when it's a national holiday like this, you know, why not? Why not just let everyone have a day off? And it's not even the people shopping; it's the people working too. You know, it's just Come on. And are you put in a position, well, I either do it or I have to quit? And you've been in a business how long? You might be older. Like, you're going to just find a job tomorrow.
Well,
you know what I mean? It's like, why not? These CEOs are not working. They're not. They're in Aspen or Sun Valley or somewhere.
Some of these CEOs are so money hungry, they might be in their office trying to figure out
they aren't.
when they're going to open next year.
They're having their employees work for them. There you go.
So are you going to shop early? We'll take a little poll here. We'll be right back. We're back. 736-0300 was the number to call. Taking a poll here. Do you plan on shopping earlier and earlier on Thanksgiving Day?
Let me start taking a poll.
That's right.
I already had one with Kyle. He said no.
And while we're waiting for you to call, we do have a caller waiting right now, but Certiset from Far More of Idaho is a new way of irrigation. It is a special pipe you put out on your field. Once it's there, you don't have to move it around. You don't have to spray around it. In fact, the equipment itself has an attachment on it that will move the pipe as you work the field. So ask them about it at Certiset, because we're not, the irrigation season is done for the year. Maybe you're thinking next year you want something more efficient, something easier to handle. Ask them about Certiset at Far More of Idaho. Their number is 324-3341, and you can catch them online at farmoreofidaho.com. All right, so what about it? You going to shop earlier this year because the stores might be open? Top story, you were on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Kelly, my apologies for getting away from your subject.
We're not doing this, Harry. We're not doing this.
I'm sorry to see you leave, Kelly. You've been a great credit to the profession.
Well, thank you, sir.
I'm concerned about Jill.
Oh, are you, Harry?
She has been out here a long time, and she hasn't yet quite got her facts right. She's saying that
Harry,
it's money that buys elections. If that was true, Democrats outspent the Republicans by $10 million in North Carolina and still lost the election. Nationally, the Democrats outspent the Republicans. They lost the election. So I was just in hopes, Kelly, that you might be able to get her squared away before you leave. And if you don't, I'm not sure there's any hopes for Jill.
Harry, how about this fact? How many voters were disenfranchised in North Carolina because of the Republicans? How many in Texas?
How many different what?
How many voters were disenfranchised? They've done voter ID laws. They cut. Harry, you go get your facts straight. We'll talk about it at Rotary. Thanks for calling.
All right. That's all I had to say. Good luck to you guys.
Hey, but Harry, are you shopping on Thanksgiving?
No, we're going to be in California.
Are you going to shop there?
No, too damned expensive.
Okay. Would you shop on Thanksgiving?
Love you anyway, even though you're out.
I love you too, Harry. Okay, goodbye. Crazy old man. Okay, bye, Harry.
Wow. You just called him what? A crazy old man?
Oh, yeah. Well, Harry, we're good friends.
I hope
what
so.
He calls me? Are you kidding? You kidding me? That's nothing.
736-0300. Top story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Kelly. I'm going to have to find a new radio station when you leave.
Aw.
Well, not necessarily. They'll find someone to replace me.
Yes,
I will be easily replaced, believe me.
I wouldn't say that. There's a couple that have filled in for you that did a pretty good job. But anyway, as far as shopping on Thanksgiving or whenever, I make a point to, when the people are out, I'm stay home.
Okay, so that's a no. But what about just the fact that it's Thanksgiving?
Well, Thanksgiving ought to be, like somebody said, a family time.
Yeah.
And the workers, that people that have to work in the stores because they're open, that is not right.
I know.
They should be home with their families.
See, we agree on something.
Yeah.
Finally.
There you go.
There you
See?
go.
Yeah.
Finally, we agree on
right.
Thanksgiving.
You're right.
I agree, too. I really do. And I'm proud of the stores who are not opening.
And apparently there's a slug of them.
Good.
So there you go.
And I will continue to patronize
You can feel
those.
good by not shopping at the stores that'll be closed that day.
That's right.
736-0300. Top story, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi there. Are you gonna shop early?
No.
Oh, good.
That's an emphatic no, too. That's not.
And I'll miss you, Kelly. when you retire.
Oh, thank you. It's nice to be missed.
I guess I'm going to have to start listening to a different radio station.
Oh my gosh, excuse me. We're going to have someone good. I'm still here. I can hear you. Hello. Gosh. Say that stuff when I'm not on one day. That's mean. All right, fine.
They're working on finding a replacement for me.
Yes,
now.
they are.
They're going out on the street. They're saying, "Hey, would you like to sit in for? Would you like to replace?"
There's a few volunteers that'll be like, "Joe, I'll take you on." I'm like, "Oh gosh, oh gosh."
Top Story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. I don't shop Black Friday anyway. It's insane.
It is. You got that right.
Retail in this country has gotten completely out of control. Christmas isn't Christmas anymore. It completely blows the meaning away. And Thanksgiving's a family holiday. I can't see the insane need to have to shop on Thanksgiving afternoon to save $2 on something.
Yeah. So you're not. So even if you could, you wouldn't shop on Thanksgiving.
Oh no.
Okay. You think they ought to pass a law against it, or just?
It's called a national holiday. They've already passed a law. There you go.
I think it's all about. It's market driven. If people are going to do it, then the business is going to take advantage of it. Unfortunately, the employees suffer.
Actually, the people are in control of this. If the people
don't show up,
if it is so disgusting to the shoppers, to the people, and they don't show up, then the stores aren't going to open. But I can guarantee you, they're going to have people lined up for blocks on the middle of the Thanksgiving afternoon, waiting to get in there and make that deal. We'll be right back on Top Story. 7360300, the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Welcome back. Taking a little poll here. Are you going to shop early on Thanksgiving? Last year was the first year JCPenney opened on Thanksgiving, and Joey Thomas, a JCPenney spokesperson, says that the response from customers was overwhelmingly positive.
I mean, that's sad. What does it say? What's it say about our holiday? I mean, a big deal on Halloween, then Christmas, and what? You just leapfrog over Thanksgiving. Well, you know what? I'm going to be home eating my stuffed squash, eating my sweet potatoes with apricots and apples. It's delicious.
What,
and
I'll be tofurkey?
And no, I don't do that stuff. And I'll be watching football, and I'll enjoy it. And you know what? I am not shopping.
7360300, Top Story, you're on the air, and thanks for waiting.
Good morning.
Hey, that's great. No, I do not plan on shopping Thursday.
Okay, that's 6.
I sure hope not. It's all become about the love of money. That's what it is.
I know.
We've gone to the point where we love money, and at times we even worship it. And it's from corporate to the individual. It's just sad.
It is sad. Well, good for you. Okay, we got 6 no's. We haven't heard a yes yet. I dare you to call it.
7360300, Top Story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Hey, Kelly, I just wanted to bring up a quick topic. The big thing about this holiday shopping is every year we get reports of fighting over a toy or somebody getting trampled.
Yeah,
died, like
Yeah, I know.
Last Saturday I went to an estate auction for guns, and it was full of guys in there. There's 150 guns. You know what? Nobody stabbed anybody. Nobody got mad if they got outbid. It was just peaceful.
So the moral of the story is it's okay to buy guns on Thanksgiving.
If you have guns around, no one's going to attack each other. There you go. Okay,
Hey, I'd go for that. 7360300, Top Story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. No, I won't go shopping, and I'll be feeling bad for those guys that are sacrificing their bodies and playing football on a day they should be with their families, too.
That's true, and that's a big controversy.
I'm going to support it, and I'm still going to watch. Sorry.
No, that's true, too. And
You're dedicated, but not that dedicated,
I think about that as well. They're out playing, too.
That's right.
And I think the NBA was against that. It is a business, yeah.
7360300, Top Story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, like the last caller, Jill blew it when she said she's going to be watching stupid football.
Oy. Is there anything I can do that's right? I said I wasn't shopping.
Oh, I don't know.
I'll be home.
I don't know, Jill.
I'll read a book. There you go. I'm sure the author will be happy.
You know what I'm going to do on Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen?
What? Please tell us, Kelly.
I'm going to eat.
I know you do that.
And eat and eat and eat.
So you'll eat till you pass out so you can't watch anything.
Yes. And I'm going to eat turkey, and that has that tryptophan in it. So
there you go.
And then I'll fall asleep. I won't have to worry about
You'll be, Monday will show up and you won't know what happened.
It does kind of irritate me when you go to a big gathering and everybody eats, and then everybody gathers around and has to be quiet to watch the football game.
No.
That, frankly, kind of irritates me.
Well, you're not a sports person.
Because I'm not a big football fan. I think if you want to have fun, let's get together and play games, play card games.
Do you ever suggest that?
Pinochle.
Do you ever suggest that?
No, that you don't dare.
Well, I think you should suggest that.
We're going to watch football. What are you talking about?
If Tracy's listening, Tracy, play some Pinochle with your dad on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, there you go.
I have to ask for you? Come on.
Yeah, would you? 7360300. Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Yeah, hello, Kelly Joe. I'm going to say no on shopping, and I'm going to boycott them and shop local.
Ah, there you go. So you're not going to shop online on Thanksgiving, huh?
No.
No,
Okay.
but what about? But it's the physical locations that are open.
No, not going to do that either.
Okay, good.
You're going to spend the time with the family.
Yep, pretty much. Hopefully.
All right. Well, that sounds like a good deal. I'll go.
Why
for that.
not?
You know what?
And then you can talk about a hospice and their death wishes.
No pumpkin pie till you tell me
Talk
how
about
you
you
want to
don't die.
I thought that was a pretty good.
Very cute. Should be a
but-
bumper sticker or something.
And I don't think we ought to pass any laws or anything like that. I think this, when I say that the people are in charge here, I really mean that. It's like content on broadcast. The reason that you see a lot of the XXX rated garbage type sitcoms on TV is because people sit there and then they watch that. And when they do their surveys of, oh, yeah, I watched this deal or I watched that deal. And that's all they are. They're pretty much just XXX rated sitcoms anymore and they all have their token this and their token that. And I don't know. It's just it's getting funny, really. But they can't be funny without talking about sex and joking about sex and all that kind of stuff. And it irritates me to no end. And I haven't watched. I don't even know what the popular sitcoms are.
We don't watch them. We just watch Seinfeld reruns.
We sit at home and we eat dinner in front of the TV and
that is a no-no.
We watch Wheel of Fortune.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Once Wheel of Fortune is done, I am up and doing something else.
You shouldn't be sitting. Why don't you sit at a table and eat your meals, eat dinner? Why don't you talk to Connie? Why don't you tell her how you feel and that you want to play Pinochle instead of the TV?
We have a time set aside to talk every week. We have 10 minutes set aside every week that we just sit down and talk.
Maybe we'll write a book on how to have a happy marriage with all these sage wisdom things.
We've been married for 35 years, so I guess it's working. And it's time now for the Huckabee Report, brought to you by Waddell & Reed. You can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell & Reed. Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger, financial advisors, and the number to call is 736-6563. Say, we haven't talked about the folks at Clearwater Power Equipment yet today.
We haven't.
Each time I go by there, I see something new setting out front. I saw a little snowblower out there yesterday. They carry Echo and Husqvarna power equipment. They got the chainsaws, they got the leaf blowers, they got the hydraulic log splitters, they got the snow blowers, they got the lawnmowers, and they'll even store your lawnmower through the winter if you don't have any place to store it.
That is a great benefit.
I think so.
I know.
And I think you should stop by because this is the chainsaw and leaf blower season.
Chainsaw massacre season.
Nobody uses a rake anymore. They use a leaf blower because leaf blowers you can get into places you can't get with a rake.
Mm-hmm.
And the chainsaws, everybody's cutting up their winter storage for firewood and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need this kind of stuff, there's only one place to go, and that's Clearwater Power Equipment in Twin Falls. They're at 252 Washington Street. 734-7767 is the number to call. I'd stop by there if I were you.
Yeah. I mean, you can get anything.
Okay,
we're having
a party.
What?
My going away party.
For KLIXcast.
November 21st.
Write this down, people.
At the Turf Club.
It's a Friday night, 5 to 8.
This is not for you to see me. This is for me to be able to see you.
Aww.
See.
And that's why it makes you so special.
It does.
Just doing those
we
little
were going to have it on
things.
Thursday, the 20th, but the Chamber of Commerce is having some big deal that day, and we didn't want to detract from that. We wanted that to be as successful as possible.
Because
so
we know it would have pulled it.
Absolutely,
pulled it
yes.
from the business after hours.
We did the honorable thing and moved my party to Friday, the 21st at the Turf Club.
More fitting.
And it's Friday, you know.
It's Friday. After work, come by, say goodbye to Kelly.
And then you can sleep in the next morning.
And then... then dance the night away. No, this will be fun. Everyone's saying, how are we going to say goodbye to Kelly? This is the perfect time.
We're going to have hors d'oeuvres and stuff, and it's going to be fun. We're going to sit around the campfire and
we'll
sing
have a
Kumbaya.
dunk tank. No.
Yeah. And we're going
I can arrange that, Cal.
Reminisce over the past many years. You know,
I know.
Just have a good time. It'd be
we'll
fun
have a
to see.
very good time.
So
Some people have known you forever.
Yeah, if you would, just write that down on your calendar and think, oh, we got to stop by so Kelly can say goodbye to us tonight.
When is that time again?
November 21st from 5 until 8 o'clock at the Turf Club in Twin Falls.
How nice is that?
I think that's cool.
I think you might cry.
I might. Might be the first time I'd ever cried.
That is not true. I've seen you cry on the show. Like a baby, I've seen you cry. Anyway, it'll
that
be
was
fun,
during
my
the 2008 election. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. It's Friday tomorrow.
I can't
Already.
believe it.
See you then. Have a good day. Goodbye, Jill.
Bye, Cal.